Rob and Slim Show.
Hey, Rob, how are you?
Good. How you doing, James? Horror author James Dermond. How have you been, my dude?
I've been very good, actually. I've been busy at writing and just doing this book launch for Volume 3.
Yeah,
Cool. So,
I saw that, man. Yeah. Congrats. It was like real quick, I feel like, compared to between 1 and 2. It was like.
Oh, yeah, between 1 and 2, but anything would be faster than that. So.
How'd you plan to continue it after 1, or was it just something that like was on the back burner?
I did. We talked about that when I came back last time.
Yeah, I thought so.
At the beginning of last year.
Yeah.
About why there was such a gap. But now, I'll be able to get out volumes pretty regularly. So.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's cool. And do you have like a stack of like ideas for like stories? Like even when you wrote 2, even with 1, do you have like other stories that you have in mind?
Yes, I have dozens of stories that are outlined.
Cool.
So even if they're just like a brief outline, like a paragraph summary, this is the concept.
That's great. That's cool.
But sometimes I take an idea and it just changes, so it only loosely resembles the original idea that I had.
Yeah, I'll do the same.
That happened for several stories in Volume 3.
Yeah. I do that a lot. For the skit I write weekly, I'll just have like one idea, and then I'll be like, "Yeah, how do I build around this?" And sometimes, the original idea you had. I'm sorry, what's that, James?
Yeah, did you were able to read any of the stories in Volume 3?
I did, man. I only got to read which one was it? At Night's End, because you gave me 2. That would be the one to read. And what was the other one? The Cabin in the Woods?
Yeah, Cabin in the Woods. Yeah.
It sounded great, but I'm like, and like that's it in my head. I'm like, that one sounds like better by the title, but I'm gonna go the other way. And it was great. At Night's End, it was great. I don't know what year it was set, but it's in like Italy, right? In like almost the Renaissance.
It's supposed to be in Rome in about 1530.
Yes,
so
yes.
Like the early modern period, very early modern period.
And it was great. It was great. It's Ferdinando and Isabella, and he kind of wakes up in a stupor almost, and doesn't even remember what's going on, and she's walking off into the night, and he watches her go to church. He follows her, and then it's like a poor kid like. Offers him to come see a theater production, and it's amazing. It's amazing.
Well, I'm glad you like the story. Have you ever read Edgar Allan Poe's Cask of Amontillado?
I've not. You have some?
Yeah, I have. That's actually one of my favorite stories from him.
What's the big one?
Okay, well then Slim will definitely want to read this story.
For sure.
Definitely.
Yeah. That's influenced. It's definitely an influence on At Night's End.
Nice. Yeah, it's really cool.
I believe the Edgar Allan Poe story was the one where at the end he like builds a wall around a guy, like traps a guy inside a wall is what it is at the ending.
Yeah. Yes. Cool. All I know is the one with the bird. This is a bird one, right? Bird Up?
Raven. Yeah, I think it's called
Raven in the Woods. That's all I know about
the 2 that I remember from him from when I was in high school was the cast, that one, and I can't even say it right now because I drank too much. and Mosque of the Red Death. That one I do
really know of that one.
The Red Death.
I've never read that.
Amontillado.
Yes, I know. Our friend Isaac Thorne has an audio reading of that.
Oh, okay, cool.
But yeah.
Yeah, so you'll definitely, anyone who likes Edgar Allan Poe's, this particular volume is actually fairly influenced by Edgar Allan Poe.
That's cool. And just remembering reading from Volume 2, it seems like your writing has gotten better, James. I think
it has. Each volume gets better and the writing gets tighter.
Yeah, I don't mean to put you down at all from your past work, but it just seems like you're getting better as you go, man.
Well, no. Well, I think that the first volume was well written. It's just it could have been written even better. I'm using a different editor. Like volumes 2 and 3 have a different. I use the Amazon editing service for volume 1.
Okay.
And it's like the the Kmart editing.
Yeah.
the big retail store version of editing.
Yeah. So I didn't realize that at the beginning. Because I thought there was nothing fine. There's nothing wrong with my writing. And that all I needed to do is have it checked for grammar and spelling errors, which they did. and they made a few suggestions here and there. But the thing is that when I used a real editor, he actually helped me improve my writing and make it more professional.
That's awesome. So, yeah, like what if you do it this way? Like that's cool. That's an awesome thing. Cool.
Yeah. So volumes 2 and 3 are written in that way. But volume 1 was definitely the most popular of everything. Only one person criticized the mechanics of the writing.
Wow.
In the reviews. Wow. They said that they liked the story and the concept, that they thought it needed, the grammar was not, it wasn't wrong, but like the writing could be tighter.
Gotcha. What would you be able to read us something, James?
Sure.
An excerpt?
I think you did read Creepy Jane a while ago. That's the first story in volume 3 that's on Wattpad.
Yes.
Yeah, so you did read that. You remember that? I think that you probably read it months ago, though.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, that was the first story that got out there.
Was that the one with Mrs. Radcliffe and Samantha, or is that a different one too?
What is it?
What's the one that had the old woman, Mrs. Radcliffe? Who?
That's her. Mrs. Radcliffe is in that. She's mentioned towards the end.
Okay.
That's right. She's in the nursing home.
Yes.
But that's where you kind of the twist in the story happens, and you realize what's actually going on.
Yes.
But I'll just start it out. It's just that Creepy Jane. It starts out being about urban legends, and then turns into an entirely different kind of story. But basically, how it starts out, I'll just set up the excerpt that I'm going to read. The main character is Samantha, and she and her older sister are both in high school. Her older sister is Miranda, and she's at home studying before final exams with her friend Veronica, and she's about to graduate. And Samantha and her mother are out, and they're just getting ready for finals. So Veronica tells her the story, to kind of procrastinate, and says, "Have you ever heard of Creepy Jane before? It's an urban legend." She says it's this high school girl who was bullied and tormented, and then she finally killed herself. But then she comes back and takes revenge on these girls. And she tells her these instructions. You go into the mirror, or go into the bathroom with or have a mirror. You have a candle in the dark, and then it's like a Bloody Mary type urban legend where you ask for Creepy Jane. Ask her a question and see if she appears or not. So Veronica leaves, and then Miranda, doesn't believe any of it. But then, on a whim, for various reasons, she goes into the bathroom with a candle, and she takes a mirror from her mother's dresser upstairs that they found in the house when they moved in. They lived in this kind of older house, and when kind of cuts away, and then when Samantha and her mother come back, Miranda's throat has been crushed in the bathroom, but the door is locked from the inside. So there's an investigation. The police create a crime scene. They have to leave. They come back months later when the college year is supposed to start, and then Samantha runs into Veronica and tells her the detail about the mirror, and then she suddenly becomes really agitated and explains Creepy Jane. That she says she just made it all up, that it was never intended to do anything except scare Miranda, but apparently something happened. So she tells her friends about it. It's like the end of the summer right before school starts, and her kind of bold friend Becca says, "Well, let's break into the school pool building, and we'll try it out in the locker room bathroom, and see if Creepy Jane shows up. If not, we just go for a swim. I've done it before." So it's this kind of like dare that they're going to do.
Nice.
So that's where the excerpt starts, where I'm going to read it off. And they've gotten into the pool room, and the group of friends are Ava, Lily, Becca, and Samantha. Samantha's the main character. So here it starts. Ava and Samantha took seats on the wooden bench at the opposite side of the pool, watching Becca and Lily eagerly muck about. After a short while, Samantha glanced at Ava, and the two of them stood and walked toward the girls' locker room. Samantha purposely left the lights off as they entered to not risk attracting the attention of Carl, the janitor. Becca had set down her gym bag on one of the benches dividing 2 rows of metal lockers. Samantha easily found the neon-colored bag, even in the semi-dark. The locker room was deathly quiet, with only the distant sound of splashing breaking the silence. Becca said she put the candle and matches from the SUV's compartment in here. Samantha noted as she unzipped the bag's top and began to fish around inside. Her dad insists she keep an emergency candle with a box of matches in the SUV in case of a blizzard. Ava laughed. There hasn't been snow in the Central Valley in probably 10 years. You're right, but she goes skiing with her family up in the mountains. You never know when a candle might come in handy. Samantha unscrewed the circular lid and saw that 3 wicks were embedded in the candle's wax surface. She placed the open tin on the grooved rail running beneath the bench's wall-mounted mirror. Ava looked over her shoulder, catching Samantha's eyes in the mirror. Sam, she said hastily. The splashing stopped. Samantha listened. They must be out of the pool. Go grab them so we can do this. The longer we stay, the more we're pushing our luck. But this is a real thrill, right? Ava replied, her smirking face only faintly visible. See you in a moment. As Ava left, the locker room door creaked open and then closed with a thud. Samantha looked around in the dark, not truly afraid, but beginning to feel a chill. The door to the locker room opened again. Ava, she called. No response, no footsteps, nothing but the sounds of the door swinging shut. There was a dark shape standing at the end of the lockers, watching her. Samantha squinted. Yes, Ava, very funny. Come on, where are the others? The figure moved across the open space between the rows of lockers, disappearing behind them. Samantha swallowed. She rubbed her hands over her forearms and slowly stepped forward to peer around the edge. Nothing was there. The chill in the air had become more pronounced. Then, moving out of the corner of her eye, Samantha spun and caught a glimpse of the back of a girl's head, long tresses flowing as she disappeared through the now open locker room door. As the doors swung closed, it was almost immediately pushed open from the outside. Ava, Lily, Becca stepped into view, giggling amongst themselves. Samantha faced them and saw that Lily and Becca had wrapped towels around their midsections. Lily was grasping her clothes and the collars of her sneakers with both hands. Hey, let's get this done. Light that candle, Becca said, coming to a stop in front of the face-level rectangular mirror. We'll be dried off soon. So that scene sets up that that something really is probably stalking Veronica, and then also is now stalking Samantha. And they're not sure what it is, if it's Creepy Jane or not.
That's great. I love the silence. Just the silence explained in there, James. That's like the scariest part.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you read the whole story and it builds up to that, that scene is actually pretty scary.
Yeah.
Because you get a few scenes before it, it kind of indicates that Veronica is being stalked by something.
Nice.
So she's kind of a mess when Samantha sees her.
Nice.
She's jittery and paranoid and sleepless.
Out of curiosity, James, so obviously, like, you kind of based that sort of on Bloody Mary, like you had said. Do you know tons of urban legends? Like, is it something you research and keep up on?
Yeah, I'm not an expert in it, but I mean, later on in the story, Samantha goes to the library and starts taking out books, and then I just have this kind of brief discussion of what she's researching. And, I mentioned like the dark-eyed children and the bunny man and, some of the other things that are urban.
What is the bunny
legend.
man? The bunny man I never heard of. I've heard of the black-eyed children, but the bunny man I never heard of.
Okay. The black-eyed children. Okay, I'll read you this paragraph. It just says, over hours, Samantha read stories about some creature named the Slender Man, ghostly hitchhikers, black-eyed children. This one really scared her. An axe murderer dubbed the Bunny Man, and various tales of gateways to hell hidden in abandoned buildings, hotel rooms, and other out-of-the-way places. But no Creepy Jane.
Wow.
So that scene in the library is where she starts to realize that maybe it's not Creepy Jane that's following her.
Right.
Ah, nice. That's awesome, dude. I was gonna ask too, James. Have you seen any? I know movies have not been as frequent as they had been before the pandemic, but have you seen any of the new horror movies?
New horror movies that have come out?
Yeah, within the past year or so. Was there a new Candyman or a redo of Candyman?
I'm at the point where I think I have to eliminate everything from my schedule except like basic bodily functions in order to get the next book out.
Yeah.
So I've not watched. I rewatched The Wicker Man recently
The-
on
Okay, cool.
Shudder.
Is that the one with
Nicolas Cage?
Yeah, I actually like that. Is that
No,
the one?
the
Or is it
original.
You watched the
I've
original.
never
Okay.
seen the
from
original.
1973.
Okay, I've never seen that one. I did see the Nicolas Cage one.
Yeah, Christopher Lee and Edward Woodward are in it.
Oh, cool.
I remember the Equalizer.
Equalizer was cool. That was
Remember that TV show?
oh, that I don't know. I was thinking of the
never
movie
saw
The
that.
Equalizer.
I was gonna say I know Slim recently saw what's that old one with the car? Christine.
Christine, well, I did a whole John Carpenter marathon where I watched like every film by John Carpenter, and not every. I stopped at In the Mouth of Madness, and then I have like a couple of his later ones I have to watch. But yeah, Christine was the one I watched recently, and that one was really cool.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You mean Chris? It's the remake of. I think it's Stephen King's novel, right?
Yeah,
yes.
adaptation. Yep.
Yeah, I saw that a while ago, but I've just been doing less and less things that aren't writing.
Yeah.
So, in order to get this out, well, the thing is, I mean, these stories that I write I just don't knock them out. I mean, I really put a lot of research and detail into them.
That's cool to hear. Yeah.
So especially the At Night's End that you read. I mean, I carefully researched that so everything was down to like within the year that I intended.
I was wondering where that was going at first. I'm like, is she drugging him?
Clothes
Yes.
and references and everything.
Yeah. And like I said, the whole way, like I was like, where is this going? Is she doing him dirty? Is there something else? But yeah, it was really good. Really great writing on that one, dude.
Okay, thanks. But yeah, read the whole thing if you can.
Yes.
My editor thought that Cabin in the Woods was actually really scary.
Okay, yeah, I did. Like I said, that was originally, but I'm like, okay. Usually with what I think, I'm usually a good judge, but I'm like, I don't know. I'm gonna read the other one. I don't know. Like my instinct was to go. My gut was to go with the Cabin in the Woods, but I ended up. But it's still that one at Night's End was still great. Still great.
Speaking of your editor, I'm still kind of curious of the the Amazon editor that you were using. Is it like a faceless editor? Because obviously, I'm assuming the editor.
Actually, let me look. I have the original document. I was just looking at it recently.
Okay.
Let me get in. I have a folder for each one. Here's the Doorways to the Unseen Volume 1 folder. And so you get this letter from Amazon, like back when they did offer editing services, and basically they hire fresh out of college graduates. Maybe they have a master's degree, but sometimes they have a bachelor's degree in English literature.
Okay.
They give them the Chicago Manual of Style, and then Merriam-Webster's Unabridged, and they say, "Okay, go to work."
Have at it.
So I got this letter, and it just gives an overview. It has recommendations on grammar, and then a few things on formatting. It's 2 pages, and it just says, Anna, create space editor.
Okay, that's what I didn't know. I didn't know if it was an actual person or just like a bot.
Like a bot or...
Yeah.
But it's still I assume...
She did a pretty good job. It's just that it's just a once-over. You have to pay.
Yeah.
You have to pay for everything that you want to have done. If you just have it a once-over where they fix grammatical and possibly spelling errors or misused words, then that's all you get.
And I assume there's less communication where I figure the editor you have now, you probably communicate with them more, like talk to them on the phone or actually have a personal connection, where the Amazon editor is just, like you said, they send you a letter.
I feel like Slim could be an Amazon editor.
Yeah, I could probably be a pretty good Amazon
You
editor.
don't want to see Slim on you. At least you didn't get Slim, James.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, to get hired,
I think
you just have to have a bachelor's degree in English Lit. So.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I got one of those.
They just hand them those 2 books, the Chicago Manual of Style and then the Merriam-Webster's Unabridged, and say, okay, go do it.
Yeah, I printed out one of those English degree things the other day, so I'm good.
I'm gonna.
But yeah, my current editor, he's in Scotland. He is Scottish.
Okay.
And he has they have an MPhil degree there, which is like it's something specific to Europe.
Okay.
Or the UK, and then he's here now in Iowa, getting his MFA.
How did you connect with him?
At Iowa State's writing program.
Cool. How did you connect with him, James?
Yeah, I used Book Butchers. It's an editing service, but they just have more experienced editors.
Yeah, it sounds like
and
it.
I decided that that's what I needed to do for the rest of the series. So I'm going to ask him to edit the whole series.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool.
But yeah, Amazon, for what it is, I mean, they actually did a pretty good job. It's just that you just have this faceless editor that you get to interact with once, and then they send you back the manuscript, and then you get this letter, summarizing the changes that needed to be made.
Have you gotten a lot of feedback on Volume 3?
Yes, so far, I mean, all the feedback that I've gotten has been positive, but again, it hasn't done as well as Volume 1. So I'm just going to have to balance more building an audience on top of writing. But each time I do this, it does get faster.
That's what I was going to ask. I was going to ask, do you have a date for Volume 4?
Yeah, I do have a date for Volume 4. So April 7th is the target date, and I should be able to meet it. Because, again, I said I'm just going to stop doing everything except writing, including, eating and sleeping. So I'll definitely get it out. The thing is I get lost in these stories, like the At Night's End originally started out as the concept was that there's a lot of evidence that hundreds of years ago people would wake up in the middle of the night and they would, they'd take care of some things at night. There was this really heavy nighttime activity, especially in places like Italy, and then they'd go back to sleep. So it was like a two sleeps, that they would go to bed, they'd sleep for several hours, wake up, there'd be all this activity at 3 a.m, and then they'd go back to sleep. Yes. So I started with that concept, and then it completely changed around, and it turned into the story that I ended up with instead.
Cool.
So
yeah, that's cool to hear too.
Go ahead.
That's cool to hear. Just the fact that you were going one way, but then went the other way.
Yeah, the thing is, I just didn't think that I could make a really good story out of the original concept that I had, but I wanted to do this kind of nighttime excursion through the city late at night.
Yeah.
The main character, Ferdinando, gets led through the city by the urchin. And, he ends up at this kind of strange theater, this theater of the bizarre, that's put on by these ghostly actors.
Yes. James, we have to start wrapping it up, dude, but I just want to say, too, before we go, me and Slim have decided to hang up the mics at the end of this season. I'm so glad we've got to connect and have you on 3 times.
Well, yeah, that was great that you invited me on 3 times, and I appreciate being on the show each of the times that I've appeared, including this one.
It was great.
So, I mean, how long were you broadcasting? I think it was 9 years?
8. Slim messaged me.
Yeah.
We were talking earlier today, and Slim said today it's been 8 years since we did our first broadcast or our first recording. So that was cool.
Do you have anything planned after this that you're going to do related to broadcasting, or
take a break? Maybe we'll meet up and do surprise shows or movie shows.
Yeah,
but I think we'll probably take a break off from anything creative for a bit.
Definitely, man. It's a grind. But yeah, I definitely am looking forward to a break.
Okay, well, yeah. So if you guys start doing something again, just contact me on Twitter. I'd like to at least see what you're doing, even if you're not interviewing people.
Yeah.
I appreciate being on the show 3 times, and I just want to know what happens to you in the future.
Absolutely, man. Definitely. And yeah, don't be a stranger. Keep in touch. Anytime you got a new project or something, definitely hit me up. I definitely love to check it out and promote it as best I can for you.
Okay, well, yeah, great. So just go to my website. That's jamesdermond.com, and you can subscribe and get email updates.
Perfect.
That way that you'll always know what's coming out.
Cool, James. Thank you so much, dude.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. Talk soon, man.
Okay, goodbye.
Have a good one.